Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to go over the Word 3A and 3B Office for the Web assignments. I've already downloaded my starting materials from my lab. I'll then go to my apps and let's open up our Word window. I'll upload a file and it's the Word 3A for the web. I'll open that. You can also refer back to your MyLab to preview the steps and follow these steps here. When you open up your document, there's already going to be a header area with the last name with the page number, as well as, and it looks like this is formatted as an academic report where everything's double spaced. As usual, make sure that you do have your ribbon up. If for whatever reason it's just a single line, make sure to click the down arrow to enable the classic ribbon. And the first part of step 3, as usual, is to turn on your show hide paragraph mark so we can see this. Then it says to position your cursor at the end of the document. The end of the document is right after the period here at the last paragraph. Once you do that, you can press enter once. Then it says to go up to your References tab, and then in your Insights group, you would click your search button. And so depending on the version of your Word Online, you might not have it or you might have it. So for my version, I don't currently have that Insights group. So I'm going to skip step number 4 and 5. However, for step 6, it says in the sentence that begins the quantified self movement, put your insertion point at the end of the sentence to the right of the period following self-tracking. So I'll click once there. And then from my References tab, I will insert a footnote. And then it tells me what to type in. Okay. And then after you type that in, to get out of your footer area, just click once in the main document. And then as usual, we're going to go ahead and insert our last name or our first and last name in our footer area. So on my Insert tab, I'll go to my Header and Footer group, click on Header Footer. I'll then select Go to Footer, and then I'll type in my first underscore last name underscore 3A. Okay, and that's all we needed to do here. You'll notice that this is the only thing that got graded was inserting the footnote. So if your version was like mine where we didn't have that Insights group, that's completely fine. The main thing is that you do insert this text here into your footnote. And so now let's take a look at the 3B. So I have the 3B up. I'll go ahead and download the materials. I'll open it up here in Copilot. And then I'm also going to make sure that I see the steps here in step 2. So unlike the 3A project, there are a lot of things that you'll be scored on. And so let's get started with this. I'm going to start by showing my paragraph marks. And then I'm going to move on to step 4, which is to select the newsletter title. And up in my font group, what I'm going to do is to change the font size to 18. The font color is going to be dark blue text 2. So I'll click on the down arrow next to the A with the red underline. and it tells me it's going to be the first color in the fourth column. When you hover your cursor over it, you should see a screen tip that says dark blue text too. For step 5, it says to apply the same color to the 5 subheadings. So I'm going to select Recycling Trash, and then I'll click on my Font Color button and do the same thing for Harvesting Daylight, Greener Grocer, and Greener Records. And I'm also going to zoom in a bit so we can see this a little bit easier. For step 6, it then says to position your insertion point at the end of the document following the word Director. I'll press Enter one time. And then what I'm going to do is to insert a picture. And for this one, it does say to use stock images. And I'll type in the word recycle. And it does tell me to locate and select the image of light bulb on green leaves or any other suitable image. But here's the one with the light bulb on green leaves. You'll select it and then click on Insert. Depending on what image you choose, it might either fall on the bottom of this page or it might be on a second page. And so what I'm going to do is to just make sure that the picture is selected. In my size group on my picture tab, I'm going to go ahead and change my height to 1 and press Enter. And then I'll just scroll up a little bit so that I can see it on my first page. With this still selected, I'm going to go up to my Home tab, and I'm just going to center align this just like how I would center text. For step 9, it says in the last article entitled Greener Records, put your insertion point anywhere in the paragraph that begins electronic medical records. So with your cursor flashing anywhere in this paragraph, we're going to go up to our Layout tab. And then in my paragraph group, I'm going to change this spacing after to 24 and press Enter. For step 10, it says on the right, select the editor suggestion box. If we can't see an editor suggestion box, so notice that we don't see anything on the right, we need to go up to our Review tab, and then on the top left is our proofing group. So what I'm going to do is to click on the Editor button, and now you should see it appear on the right side. And in the corrections group, it does say to select spelling, so I'll click that once. And then it also says to select the second suggestion to insert a space following the quotation mark. Okay, so it should be same, period, quotation mark, a little space, and Emily. After you do that, it says if the grammar displays a correction, select grammar. So if you had a little one here next to grammar, you would click on it and then ignore that. To close this editor pane, just click on this tiny X on the right here. For step 11, what we're going to do is to go up to our Insert tab, and then in our Header and Footer group, I'm going to click on Header and Footer. I'm going to go down to my footer, and let's type in our first and last name, underscore 3B. And if you want to, you can go ahead and do a print preview. Before canceling this out, and then we'll just go ahead, create a copy, and just like for 3A, download a copy and then upload it into MyLab for grading.